Let me hear it.
Right off the bat, it's eating with the kids. Eating and activity, right? So they're moving, they're eating, and they're getting, in a sense, most importantly, that you don't have to ditch your cultural traditions to eat healthy.
Boom, boom. If you do it right, people start to dance. Say boom.
And then the last piece is the soul part, right? So mind, body, and soul. The soul part is how they interact, how they touch with the ground. You see kids that are talking to each other all comfortably from an Afrocentric perspective without it being something that segregates, right? That we all can be in this space of honoring the ancestors of the African diaspora, regardless of your background, and chew on the stuff that comes with it, literally in the garden, but also in conversations inside.
We are able to incorporate the idea of a healthy body and a healthy mind into everything we do.
Blueberries. Tomato. Ghost pepper.
Each year there's a different theme. So this year's theme is Sankofa, so looking at connections to the continent, connections to ancestors. It's that 3 questions: who we were, who we are, and who we want to be.
And it's about looking back to move forward and looking back on the things we have done and been and the places we've been to move forward. That's kind of the theme of the mural. That mural is the first mural we actually did here with the help of Jeff Nelson, who is an artist in the community. Our youth leaders kind of took the head on that. The way it's set up is all of the different connectedness of like the foods we eat and the plants we grow. The murals really just kind of capture like some of the biggest themes of like what ArtsUs is really about, and like our mission is about the arts, culture, and science of the African diaspora and developing young leaders.
The African diaspora is so large and can mean a lot of different things. And so we have Latin arts here, we have Latin drum classes and Latin dance happening here sometimes. There's visual arts, there's storytelling, there's dance, there's music, all sorts of things.
We kind of come at it from a very holistic perspective where we want your body to be healthy physically, and we want you to have a healthy mind, and we want to help you with these things, and we want you to help us with these things. And it's just so full circle in all the things we do. And we're learning about virtual reality over there, and we're learning about drumming over here, and just kind of the ways we're able to tie it all back and talk to the kids about how related it is. And like the kids can tell us themselves how they're seeing the connections, and it's super cool.
I like dancing. Dance is actually pretty fun because then you can figure out and learn more about different dances from different cultures. We've learned Afro-Brazilian, and we've also learned Afro-Cuban. And you'll feel like, oh, I need a break. But then you like actually get into it, like you want a break, but you don't want it.
I will usually do drumming, and there's something called a tamborim. They're from West Africa, and some are from Brazil. And I also like doing the garden. Before you grow, you need to scoop the sand and till it, and then wait a couple days, water the sand so it can be moist, and then you plant. Keep digging. We learned about how we can just plant and help the earth. And like, we learned about what plants need to survive. They need water, sun, and soil.
Our goal is to explore the entire African diaspora, to cover as much of it as possible, right? The program idea is do whatever's cool with kids and be intentional about making connections to the diaspora. The last 3 years or so, we've been really dialed in on the culinary palettes of African peoples and diasporic peoples, so wherever African peoples have gone across the world. And so the garden has really kind of taken that shape. But then we have our spiral herb garden here, which is something that came out of the Middle East, and some folks who came in and said, hey, you know, how do we grow more stuff without having to take up as much land?
Today we planted eggplant and cabbages, red cabbages. The kids wanted red cabbage. You maybe saw the herb spiral. We planted that first. So a bunch of herbs, we planted a few more today.
We're growing herbs and all these different things, and the kids are taking it home and saying like, Mom, I know how to make this with green onions, and I know how to make this with tomatoes, and it's like yes, that's what we want.
We have rosemary and herbs and things like that that'll be good for East African cooking. We have squashes and gourds and things like that, which are really common in West African traditions. For kids to know that these kinds of things came out of African diasporic communities, now you're reconnecting to your food in some different ways. And then we have a policy in the garden. If it's ripe and you can tell it's ripe, eat it. And then it's a lot easier to put out a whole tray of vegetables and just have the kids start grabbing at it and going without even thinking about it. And our mission is to develop young leaders through the arts, culture, and science of the African diaspora. So as long as we're doing that, we're awesome.
We the Afro Sticks.
Kids come here and they just get a lot of love for who they are, and they get a lot of support for the person that they are. We're not asking them to be anything else. We're asking them to express who they are.
We've got them and we grow them, and then some drop off, but we end up having a perpetual cycle of youth leaders and junior staff, and then eventually executive directors. I came up in the program, grew up through the program, went out in my professional life, and came back here, and now I'm executive director. We want to see that continue to happen.
Who's next? Hold it, turn it, drop it. Nice. All right, y'all.